Hey guys, welcome to Python Ninja Bootcamp. In this lecture, we will learn about a scope. Let's get started. A scope refers to the place from where you can access a variable. Let's go ahead and see the types of scopes available in Python. Here we have local, enclosing, global, built-in. Local are the variable defined within the function. Enclosing are the variable in this local scope of enclosing function. Global are the variable defined at the top level of the module or declared by using global keyword. Built-in are the names that are predefined in the Python. Now let's see the LEGB rule. Python checks the variable first in the local scope, then enclosing scope, then global scope, and lastly in the built-in scope. Students are hereby requested to download the file of this lecture from the description given below. Let's see the example of local and global scope first. I'm gonna create a global variable, let's say variable A, and set it equal to global A. Now A is global because it is created at the top level of the Python module. Now I'm going to create a function, let's say def check function colon. Now within the check function, I'm going to create a variable B and set this equal to local B. Now in the next line, print the value of B. Then outside this, call the check function. If you check out the output, it will return the local B. The reason it happened because Python uses LEGB rule. First, it checks B in the local scope. Since the variable B is found inside the function, so it will print the output as local B. Let's comment the print B. And now what if I print A variable? The output will be global A. The reason it happened because according to LEGB rule, first it checks variable A in the local scope of a check function. Since the variable is not found, so it will check A in the enclosing scope. Since there is no enclosing scope right now, it will found variable A in global scope. Since variable A is at the top level of module, so that's why it will print the output global A. Now let's print the B variable outside the function. If we check out the output, we will get the error B is not defined. Why we are getting this error? Because B does not live outside the check function, it is local to the check function. Now let's see what if I print the variable A outside the function. If you check out the output, you will see global A. Let's change the variable B inside the check function to A and the string inside here, I'm going to change it to local A. If I run the code now, you will see the output as local A and global A. Let's go ahead and understand what's happening here. It ran the check function first and came in and print out local A and after that global A. Any question, class?
My answer, why the function taking value of A as local A when we have a global A?
Good question, Tamta. So the reason it happened because Python uses LEGB rule. First, it will check A in the local scope. Since variable A is found inside the check function, so it will print the output as local A. Then after it comes outside and print global A. Since the scope of A equal to local A lives only inside the function, so it will not going to be printed outside. But if I want to set a new value for a global A within check function, to do this, we use global keyword. So I'm gonna say global A. Now if I run this, you will see it run the check function and tells the Python that we are working with a global A and set that to local A and print it out. After it comes outside and print local A because we have already set the value of local A to global A by using global keyword inside the check function. Now if I comment out the A variable at the top of the module, still you can see the same output because the print function outside the check function is still able to find out the global A from here. What I mean here, if I comment out global A, it will show error as A is not defined because global is not defined anywhere in the code. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the enclosing function. I'm gonna use enclosing function to explain enclosing scope. Enclosing function works with nested function. So let's understand with this example here. Def outer function colon, within outer function I'm gonna set a equal to outer a. Then I'm gonna have a nested function. Let's say def inner function colon, and within inner I'm gonna set a equal to inner a. Now I'm gonna print the variable a, and after that I'm gonna call the inner function. Now within the outer function I'm gonna print variable a, and after that I'm gonna call the outer function. If I run the code now, you will see the output as inner a and outer a. Let's understand what's happening here. When we call the outer function, it sets the variable a equal to outer a. This variable is local to outer function. Then we had called the inner function. It set the variable a to inner a. This variable is local to inner function. Then we print variable a. Now the Python uses LEGB rule. It checks variable a in the local scope of the inner function, since variable a is found inside the function. So that's why it prints the output as inner a. Then we printed out the variable a again inside the outer function. It checks variable a in the local scope of outer function, since variable a is found inside this function, so that's why it prints outer a. Now what if I comment out the variable a inside the inner function? If I run the code now, it will display outer a both times. This is what enclosing scope is. Let's understand what's happening here. So when we got to the point within our inner function where we printed out the variable a, it first checks any a local to the inner function. Since there is not any a variable inside the inner function, then it checks for any a variable local to the enclosing function. So in this case we have variable a in the enclosing function outer, so that's why it's called enclosing scope. Since we have variable a in the enclosing function, so we get the output as outer a. Now here comes the last, that is built-in scope. So I'm gonna take a built-in length function that is used to calculate the length of any object. So I'm gonna say len function and declare a list. Let's say list 1 2 3 4 5, and if I run the code, it will display the length of the list, that is 5. Now I'm gonna create a user-defined len function. So I'm gonna say def len function colon, within the len function I'm gonna print a message user-defined len function. So if I call len function now, it will display the output as len is user-defined. What if we again try the len function with the list 1 2 3 4 5? Now we will get the error. So the reason it happened because when we ran the code, Python found the len function in the global scope, which is defined by the user. So you have to be very careful while using the built-in function. That's all about scopes. See you in the next lecture. Students, subscribe करें SN Gurukul channel को. Press the bell icon to see the latest tutorial. Comment करें to give your valuable feedbacks and suggestions. Next video में हम cover करेंगे Q&A third. Till then, practice and thank you for watching.